Hi, my name is Georganne Ford, and I'm here as the Assistant Resource Coordinator for the Alpha Center for Divorce Mediation. And today I have one of our mediator attorneys with us to talk to us as our guest more about what's happened with the divorce rates, divorce in general, and questions we probably all have when this pandemic hit, during the pandemic, and what's going to happen after the pandemic? What's the future look like for those of us that have maybe made it through the pandemic so far? So, Mike, can you tell us a little bit more about some of that, what your expertise is on that?
Thanks, Georganne. Just to introduce myself, my name is Mike Routh. I'm one of the attorney mediators here at the Alpha Center. And like Georganne said, we're talking a little bit about the divorce rate today. And I know that's kind of been an interesting topic because it hasn't been consistent with what you would expect. A little bit uncertain. And right at the beginning of the pandemic, when everything kind of locked down, there was really no outlet or no place to go for couples that were looking for a divorce. The court system was closed down. There wasn't any face-to-face meetings with attorneys. So a lot of people held on to that for a little bit and were forced to put their plans on the back burner. When law firms got back into opening their doors, what we saw was an initial increase in that divorce rate. A lot of people forced to spend some more time with that spouse, really needed an outlet to move on with their lives. And so a lot of people took that opportunity in the early days of the pandemic to seek out help and file for those divorces.
I was wondering about that, Mike, because I started thinking, like, what did we do before we were locked down? We were at the gym. We got some of our emotions and our anxieties out, and all of a sudden, that's not available to us anymore. That had to build for some of us.
Right, and I think that it goes to the fact that a lot of us try to put making these major decisions, these important decisions off. It's a lot easier to just try to grit your teeth and not do anything about it in hopes that it does get a little bit better. The problem with the pandemic is that instead of being able to have those outlets, like, hey, I'll go to the gym and get a 2-hour break, we didn't have that anymore. So you were forced to confront this situation face to face a lot of the time, which forced these people to ultimately make those decisions a little bit more quicker than they had planned on.
And the homeschooling, I mean, that was so stressful.
Right. I do hear that a lot of time from clients. Like, I'm fortunate that my children are a little bit older and in college, but a lot of clients talked about how tough it was to have their elementary school age or junior high school aged children stay at home and sit them down and have that attention span to sit in front of the computer for that time. They had to do a lot of monitoring.
Jobs, right? They had to keep their jobs. I mean, that just built more stress up within the family environment, I'm guessing.
Right. But what the interesting thing about that is, Georganne, is that after that initial spike that we saw, is that a lot of people kind of got into the flow of things, and it seems like that families, because of spending that added time together, decided to give their relationships another chance. And I know that in some situations it did help. Like, people were able to make that reconciliation. We talk about these distractions that we get confronted with on a daily basis from the outside. Well, having to look inward and having to spend that time at home, that nuclear family came back a little bit. Wow. So the pandemic did provide some positivity in that aspect.
That's so good to hear, because I know, just to know, when all of you as a group and the work that you do, it's all about helping the families and wanting them to stay together or transition apart in the best way they can for those families. So that's really good to know.
Right. This is, getting to this point is a big decision. When we get married, we don't plan on getting a divorce. That's not the goal of this. So getting to this stage, some events have to take place, and it's a big decision to make. So if reconciliation is still a possibility, by all means, that's the direction that we want to move in.
That's so nice to hear. Mm-hmm. So what's the future look like? Pandemic's hopefully going to end sometime soon.
Well, I think we all have our fingers crossed, in regards to that. So, right. So we do have the good news with the vaccines being administered, and it seems like a lot of the county court systems here in Pennsylvania seem to be back up and running, and they seem to be moving this stuff through their systems a little bit quicker than they were in the early days. But one of the biggest things that I've noticed is, during the pandemic, we've done a lot of Zoom meetings, kind of like what we're doing today. And and I definitely had some clients that went through the whole process, our whole mediation program, via this Zoom avenue. And but what I found out through talking to them is that yes, it's nice that we're still able to see each other and meet like this, but a lot of people still prefer that face-to-face contact, especially when we're talking about this important subject, right? It's it's nice to be able to communicate this way, but it's not the same as being in person with somebody, and you can actually feel the emotions that go on in that room. So as a result, when we move in the direction of having the population vaccinated, and we're able to get back to these in-person meetings, I think you'll see a lot of people that have been holding on to not making this decision, start to come back, and probably that divorce rate will increase again as people, look to meet with their attorney, their mediator, or whatever avenue they choose to pursue this.
Do you see the future as maybe more people might seek out mediation as an option, different from maybe in the past, because the courts, the courts are going to be booked. They're going to be, maybe there's more agreement available because they have spent so much time together.
Well, I think in speaking about that, you bring up this worry about finances, right? For people, that's a lot of people that are getting divorced. That's a big piece of this. Be it trust issues or just be it the way the other person spends money, but that financial piece is always part of this. And through mediation, we do save people money. We don't charge an hourly rate. We work on a flat fee basis, and we're not spending our time in court. So our fees are obviously a lot lower than you would find if you went out and hired your own litigation attorney.
Just for that reason alone, I just would see maybe mediation really picking up on that.
Right. So that's a good point. Because of the financial stress that the pandemic has caused, people are going to try to look for a cheaper alternative. And when I say cheaper, I say that loosely, because I don't look at us as a cheaper alternative. We're not cutting any corners. We're doing the same thing that a litigator would do for you. We've just found an easier way. And we provide you the same services, the same protection that you would get from appearing in court.
You know what I found by being on the other side of that table clearly was that you do take the time to get to know us before the process starts. And that
Right.
was probably what I saw was most valuable.
Well, the point about that is that we're working with both parties. We work in a position of neutrality, and it's kind of our job to be a guide through this. Kind of provide that legal guide with the backdrop of the divorce code. So we're presenting an education to these people so they understand what they're doing, and it is important to gain that trust and to get to know both parties.
Right. So you then, what are your feelings about the future with when the pandemic ends? Do you agree with what's out there right now?
Well, it's Monday morning and our phone has been ringing, so I'm guessing that because of those factors that we were talking about before, that people are gonna start coming back, and not that I like to see them in here, but what I'm trying to provide is an easier, softer way of doing this, and same with some time and money, and a lot of that emotional baggage that goes along with having this process drawn out, over time. So,
That's really helpful. And I just want people to know too, that one of the, you guys, with all the experience that you have, the other thing I picked up on was it's not just the time and money, it's you brought up things we didn't even think about. And that was another valuable piece that we walked away with. So I bring that to the table as well for anyone who's thinking about mediation as an option. Alpha Center phone number, 1-800-310-9085. Mike, I want to thank you for being our guest today and continuing to be part of our team that just makes us such a strong, mighty team out there.
Thanks, Georganne.
You're welcome. Thank you.